Welcome back to News here on the Rise News. Now, the minimal role of women in the unfolding political process continues to be a concern to those who have, for long, advocated for increased role for that demographic in the affairs of Nigeria. Apparently, the number of women that will be on the ballot will still be far from short of expectations, and critically so. That's call for affirmative action on gender re-engineering of Nigerian politics might just have to wait, at least till the next election season. Ifeoma Okoya Thomas is the Abia State Deputy Governorship candidate for the African Democratic Party, and she joins us right now to discuss women inclusion in Nigerian politics. Once again, great to have you. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start it off looking at how things have actually shaped out in terms of gender inclusion for the women in politics.
Yes.
What do you still think is the barrier that is stopping enough women from participating fully in politics and not just being relegated to probably the women wing of the party?
That's a very good question. Today, as we all know, our society is a very patriarchal one. And of course, this discourages a lot of women. As we popularly say in Nigeria, it's a man's world. But it's time things change. Things really need to change from business as usual.
Yeah.
Now, the absence of adequate and supportive laws for women inclusion is also a problem. Violence is rife in Nigerian politics. That is a problem. Finance is a problem. And I always say timing can be a problem. Now, let me take it one at a time. Now, women who are seemingly brave and want to step up to the plate to speak up and to represent their people are seen in a certain light in Nigeria, in spite of that the Nigerian Constitution makes provision for gender equality and non-discrimination. Women still suffer marginalization. Women still suffer injustices. This is often as a result of religious and cultural norms, gender stereotypes, little or no education, and also the huge disproportionate level of poverty on women. Now, if you look at all of this, and then also the 35% affirmative, it's only been paid lip service to since 2006. It's still lopsided. In every sphere of influence, it's still lopsided. Women are still short of 30% in governance, in leadership positions in Nigeria till today.
All right, if I may come in there, Ifeoma, yes, we talk about, the inclusion, the advocacy for inclusion in politics and everything.
Yes.
But let's talk about those who have found themselves in the corridors of power. There have been people who have been there and the current ones in public office. How have they distinguished themselves in the roles they found themselves for the electorate to have confidence in them? Now, I'm not talking about the Okonjo-Iwealas, I'm not talking about the Abike Dabiris, and those are role models, what have you. But the current ones right now, you hardly hear of their names. You find them time after time in the floors of the Senate, in the floors of the House of Reps, and when it comes to ministerial appointments, you find them there as well. But when it comes to the impact, their contributions to public governance, that's where you have the problem.
Well, I can't really speak for them, but I'll just use a few examples that I've been opportuned to have come across, or when I speak to people over the years, in the past. Let me make a good, a more recent reference. What's her name? The lady Nancy Apoche in Kogi State.
Natasha Apoche.
Yes, Natasha. Yes. That came out a couple of years ago to run, and Look at the violence that that she faced. Now, some of these women who are in the corridors of power, like you say, the ones you see in the Senate, some of them, they may not have had prior experience, you know, in political offices before they got to those positions. And when they want to toe the line of whoever their principal is.
But why toe the line? You could, you know, distinguish yourself, make something, you know, of why your constituent voted you in the first place.
Well, that's why today I'm coming out. That's why today younger people are taking the bull by its horns. We want to bail the cat ourselves. We want to be able to speak up. We want to be able to say that we don't have no political godfather. We're getting this position on merit, not because someone selected us. So that's where you can speak your mind. And, you know, there will be not caring whose ox is God. So this is what I think. So I don't know what situation, how they were elected into office, or, you know, how they got their positions. So I cannot really speak for them or know their reasons for not putting themselves out there to make that change. I also recollect a long time ago, Dame Koforola Bokno was a one-time deputy governor of Lagos State. And I recall one time that we were told that she was a deputy governor without a portfolio. She was literally relegated to the background. She just sits down. Meetings are going on. She's not even aware of it, but she's in the office. So, and she did 4 terms. She was literally frustrated out of that office. So I think also some of these women would have seen this trend over the years, and also the lack of adequate political enlightenment have also held some women back.
All right.
This is my thoughts.
Okay, so let's now vista into your own story.
Okay.
Let's get to hear from you.
Okay.
What's been your experience like? Because usually when they talk about women in politics,
Yes.
They try to stereotype women and say that women probably are not built for the rigors of politics, because politics is never ending. Meetings upon meetings and consultations upon consultations that actually veers deep into the night, and they usually say those ungodly hours that politicians spend in caucus meetings are not typically, of course, some would say it's sexist, but they say they're not typically built for women, that it's non-stop. The mill keeps grinding over and over again. But talk to us.
Yeah.
What's been your experience like so far?
Personally, you know, at the beginning of this conversation, I said our society is a patriarchal one. And for me, I have a very supportive family, so that's been of great help as well.
Right.
And the rendezvous, the late night meetings, it is also discouraging for most women as well, especially married women. Nobody wants to be outside till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then you're coming home at odd hours, except you have a very supportive family. This becomes very difficult for the woman. Now, for me, I guess I would say I've been lucky so far. I haven't gone to so many late night rendezvous, at least not yet.
All right.
You know, so, be that as it may, it doesn't mean that if those situation calls for my attention that I have to be at a certain meeting, that I will not make myself available. I will make myself available for such a meeting. But if it's a meeting that doesn't really need my attention, I think my principal would excuse me, because, you know, I have a family.
Those are those not the constraints?
Those are the constraints. I agree with you.
Because the men will be forced to attend meetings, whether they need their presence or not, because the networking, the opportunities to probably share ideas and also pitching your own idea and also probably put yourself in the good light usually cannot be overstated. So, is that not a disadvantage of some sort?
I don't see it as a disadvantage. As a matter of fact, if you put it, the proper meetings that would need your intellectual capacity probably would not be held at that time of the night, if you check it out, especially in Nigeria. The one that requires your attention, your focus. Who is so focused at 2 a.m. in the night? Except you're high on something, you know, excuse me, you know, because it's fresh in the morning, your ideas are popping, you have things going on in your mind, things you want to put down, you want to pass across a message, you come out with clarity. At 2 a.m., There are things that are discussed. Most of those things are those are party things. They're things that may not require the full attention of a woman. It might just be things that the party official need to tackle. And if it's a situation where my attention is not needed 100%, I think I would like to be excused.
All right, let's still delve into the realm of party politics, especially within Abia. Realistically, how popular is ADP, your party, in that region? And don't you think the odds are stacked against you? Regarding the traditional parties, PDP, the APGA, of course, APC is coming along as well. So how realistic is that? How have you endeared yourself to the people of Abia?
In my period on the campaign trail in the last couple of months, I have realized that, the traditional parties, they're ingrained in the system. But I also learned that people are not happy with them. So that's my foot in the doorway. That's where I stand on. And I speak to people. And I say the same thing everywhere I go. You are not voting a party. You are voting the personality, the person who is going to deliver the dividends of democracy to our people, to your community, to our state. Everybody, it's common knowledge that Abia State is one of the worst hit states when it comes to getting the dividends of democracy. On a lighter note, someone shared with me a joke that some people were asked to go and bomb Abia State, and the guys got there and just go like, oh God, you say we should bomb here? I say, yes, said somebody don't reach here before us, and you look at it. There's a dearth of infrastructure in Abia State. Women are unheard of in Abia State. And this is what I tell every woman, every group of women I have spoken to so far. I tell them it is time they hear us. Who best to represent a woman than a woman? That is my stand. And my principal, Mazi Chibike Jonas, is keen, he's ready, he's poised to give women almost 45% of appointments in his government. So we're going to give women a voice. Women will be heard. They will speak and will listen. And yes, we would do. It will be a departure from the old ways. Yes.
All right, a departure from the old ways. I want to find out from you, looking at Abia politics and the political landscape. There are talks about the fact that a lot of things, the political landscape is divided across probably ethnic lines when you look at those from Abia North and Abia South. And they talk about the fact that Abia South have probably dominated. It's time for the North to actually get into power to fulfill the quota system and the rotational policy that we've seen happen in Nigerian politics time and time again. What do you make of that? And also looking at the elections in general, as we get closer to February the 25th, it's just 27 days away as we speak. Are you confident that for the presidential National Assembly elections, are you confident that INEC is ready for those batch of elections?
First and foremost, let me first extend my condolences to the families of Professor Ikone, who passed a few days ago. My heartfelt condolences to him and his family at this time, and it's a great loss to our state and to the nation in general. Yes, politics in Abia State is divided amongst many lines, amongst ethnic groups. We have the Ungwas in Abia. We have the people, the Arachuku people. We have the Ohafia people. We have the Umaya people, and other smaller minority people within Abia State. But the truth is, I'm an Ungwa person. I'm from Isialango South.
Okay.
Yes. And the Ungwas, we make up majority of Abia State. Out of the 17 local governments in Abia State, the Ungwas have 9 local governments. So, yes, agreed, there had been agreements amongst all the ethnic groups in Abia as to how to rotate the governor, the state government, from time to time to make sure that every ethnic group is represented at every point in time. Now, the people of Ohafia, Bende area, that's Abia North,
Yeah.
they've ruled. They've ruled.
But they say not as much as the South has.
Well, the guy who ruled from the North, the person that took over from him is you know, there are lots of boundaries, you know, this is the South and then this is the North. It could just be just a little line. The man's house is probably, half of it is on this side. I'm just making allusions, you know, it may not be exactly that. But the man, yes, he's under the Abia South constituency, which I am under as well. And when he was going, because at that time, there was a strong clamor for an Ungwa person to rule Abia. Because an Ungwa person has not ruled Abia in many years. We're supposed to be the majority, but we have not. So then came the present governor, Okoya, who is from Ungwa. And then he's ruled for 8 years. Now, but the Ungwas still feel marginalized. We still feel that we didn't get anything even under Okoya, even though he's our son. We feel we haven't gotten anything. We feel that we still need an extra 8 years. This is just the inner wranglings amongst the Ungwas. This is what we believe should be, because we feel Abia North has gone for 16 years, as far as we are concerned. So it's our turn to do our own 16 years before we pass it down to the other people.
All right, I just hope this won't run into conflict with party expectations and configurations, as you rightly...
Although you didn't answer the second part of that.
Oh, sorry, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is, right now, we've run out of time. We could have taken the narration further. Ifeoma Okoya Thomas, Abia State Deputy Governorship candidate for ADP, would like to thank you for joining us on News.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
You have a wonderful day yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye.